Hey guys, this is Eric Young, and you're listening to Booking the Territory.
Hey, this is Ring of Honor superstar Donovan Dijak, and you're listening to Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast.
This is the one-man gang. You're listening to Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast.
This is Booking the Territory, a pro wrestling podcast hosted by Mike Mills, Hardbody Harper from Wildcat Sports and Entertainment, and the mentally irregular Doc Turner. This podcast is a mix of your topics and thoughts in the world of pro wrestling, along with interviews and discussions with current independent stars and your favorite stars from the past. And now, here's your host, Mike Mills.
Thank you for checking out this week's edition of the Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel with my discussion with Kenny the StarMaker Bolin. If you are listening to this and checking us out this time, this is the second time StarMaker Bolin has come on Booking the Territory. The last time was about 6 months ago, and we had a great discussion. I got a lot of great feedback for StarMaker Bolin as a guest, and I said, hey man, I got to bring you back on, man. The people seem to like listening to you. Whether you like him or love him, Kenny the StarMaker Bolin to me is a very entertaining guy, and I appreciate him giving his time to come back on the show. If you enjoy our YouTube channel, because you are checking this out right now, and all of the great discussions we've had, like with Eric Young and Sam Houston from the Territory days and the legendary one-man gang, if you like those episodes, please check us out on our audio RSS feed or podcast feed. I have a bunch of links in the description below, and that's whether you're on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. They are all there. You can check us out weekly. We drop our episodes every Thursday night as I record this on August the 6th, 2016. We drop those things on every Thursday night. We have a show up. Generally, we have a guest, whether it's a StarMaker Bolin or an ROH talent like Warbeard Hansen or Donovan Dijak. We drop our episodes, and then we have our friendly banter as we discuss Raw, SmackDown, Ring of Honor, and TNA from the week. So check us out. Subscribe to our audio show. That way you can take us on the go. Not that you can't do that with YouTube nowadays, but hey, it's compatible on just about any podcast platform you can find our show, Booking the Territory. And we would greatly appreciate it. Also, we got a couple of links below. Follow us at facebook.com/Booking the Territory. Well, I should say like us on facebook.com/Booking the Territory. And you can follow us on Twitter at BTT_podcast. And check out our very own Pro Wrestling Tees store that I have linked below as well. That's a great way to support the show. You can also donate to us. I'll include that link in as well. Other than that, that's all I have. I'm going to throw it over to the one and only Kenny the StarMaker Bolin. StarMaker Bolin, if you're listening to this, thank you very much for coming on the show, and I look forward to having you back again in the future. It's the StarMaker himself.
What's up, everyone? Hang on there, trying to find my microphone. Are you hearing all right?
Oh, I can barely hear you.
Okay, you'll hear me better here in a second. My microphone's in the floor.
I thought you forgot about me.
Well, I did. Sitting there in the living room watching television, and well, here's the other thing. My keyboard quit working last night. It's one of those Bluetooth deals.
Oh,
and it's backlit because I type in here when the lighting's not real good a lot. So it finally conked out. I'd had it about 3 years, I guess, and it did shut down. So I had to order a new one that's coming in Wednesday.
Okay.
So I haven't really been able to type back and forth with anybody. That's why you got a smiley face saying, yeah, we're good. And I go in there in the living room, sit down and start watching the nightly news and the Donald Trump shit. And just fucking forgot. I mean, it's a miracle I come back here, and then I looked and saw your thing. I thought, oh, shit, not again. You don't do these shows live, though, right?
No.
Thank God.
Yeah, I don't do them live.
I'd have fucked you twice in a row if they were live. Yeah, he's really going to come on.
Well, they probably would have believed at this point that you eventually would have came since you were on already.
Eventually. Plus, Cornette's mattering hell at me over doing those Russo shows. Apparently,
is he really?
Oh God, wherever he's at in Oklahoma.
He was. Well, go ahead, and I'm gonna tell you a story. I saw him yesterday.
Oh, you saw him? Well,
Are you
from out that way?
No. I live in Dallas now, originally from New Orleans, so I drove up. The promoter, I used to work the Indies with the promoter, not JR, but
Right.
the guy up in Oklahoma. His name's Jerry Bostick. We used to work the Indies together 10 years ago.
All
So
right.
I know Jerry, and so whenever Jerry has a big event like that, he'll always invite me up. So it was a short drive, so I went up there to the show and
Now,
saw Cornette.
what's your description of a short drive?
It's a little bit less than 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a long drive for me these days.
Well, see, for me, you got to realize living in Dallas, driving to New Orleans is about 7.
Yeah, I guess driving
So-
any damn where other than Dallas is a long drive, I guess.
Yeah, so whenever I equate what's short or long, to me, the 7-hour drive I have to make.
I've
whenever I visit.
got family and friends in Atlanta that are wanting me to come and see them, and after doing that damn trip, and I rode in a limo for that. After doing that trip with Cornette to Memphis or Jackson, just outside Memphis, 15-hour drive with him just drove me fucking nuts, and I wasn't even doing the driving. So
Yeah, that's a rough one. That's a long haul. So 3 hours for me wasn't too bad.
that
But
big
you were saying about Cornette?
he's just not been happy with me doing these Russo shows, and everybody's asking him if it's a work because I'm in on it or whatever. I said if anybody's stupid enough to fucking ask you that, knowing the history and knowing the shit that I do to provoke you, I said, I also did a show talking about how you couldn't hold a fucking job either. I said, you didn't get mad about that. Well, he did, but he didn't go as public about it as he did here. But when I pointed out he hadn't been able to hold any of his jobs and he can't get any new ones, he got a little pissed about that too. But yeah, he really lost his mind over this shit.
You said that the first time I had you on my show. You said that your exact words to me were, "Tell me the only job Cornette never got fired from."
Yeah,
I
don't think you can name one. I think the first time I revealed it was one that show in Milwaukee that I do with. Well, I can't say I do. They kept telling me they was going to have me back on, but I think I might have offended the host there with something I said. I can't really go into what it was, but apparently something I said really pissed him off. And now David Hero's cool with me, but the other guy, I think I trudged in some water that I didn't know was that deep. And
okay.
And now he hasn't said that, and I don't know for sure. But I went back and remembered something I said, and I realized I hadn't been on the show since. And even though they both keep saying, yeah, we're going to get in touch with you, we'd love to have you back on one of our highest rated shows, all this. I think the main host of the show, I think I said something that really pissed him off.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, if I'd have known more about the situation, I may not have brought it up. But I didn't, and I did. So what do you do? Now we're not. Are we recording now?
No, we're recording, but I can edit anything out.
Hell, I don't care.
Okay.
You saw him in Oklahoma, huh?
Oh yeah, I walked up to him because here's the thing.
Well, here, let me get everything clear. No, folks, this is not a work. Yes, I personally happen to like Russo. Based on my interactions with him, he hasn't done anything to me. He's been nothing but kind to me and my son. But yes, apparently Jimmy really does hate him. He's turned down. Russo was going to debate him for charity, or try to settle those differences for charity, and he apparently won't do that. And I'm of the opinion we're in our 50s. Grow the fuck up. Whatever your differences are, I just don't have anybody on the entire planet that I hate that badly, or really that I can even say I hate. There was one person, and Cornette was affiliated with him real tightly, and he wouldn't get rid of that person until after Jimmy was fired from OVW. And when Jimmy got fired, so was this guy the next day. And I won't even bring his name up. It ain't worth. I don't want to give him any publicity. Jimmy's given him enough because he said that the only reason I'm doing this Russo thing is to get back at him. No, not really. It's not done to get back at him. It's just I finally talked with Russo. He had me on his show first. We were scheduled for an hour. We did 2.5. And then I had him on my show. We were scheduled for an hour. We did 2.5.
Both times, right?
Yeah.
Y'all went 2 hours both times.
Right. And then he
Yeah.
And then he come back and did my show. again, to answer all this stuff. When everybody was trying to get him, he thought he would get a fair shake on my show to answer the allegations that Jimmy had made on his 45-minute rant on Russo on his show.
Well, he went off on a rant.
He did, and as far as I'm concerned, and Jimmy can get pissed if he wants to, and apparently he is. He opened this can of worms. Russo admitted what he did wrong. He said that he sent the wrong email to the wrong guy. He all but said this was something stupid I did, and I paid the price for it. But he admitted it. He wasn't hiding anything. And,
no, he didn't. He did admit that.
And then Jimmy goes on a 45-minute rant to tell everybody how stupid Russo was, which he had already admitted that he did a stupid thing. So Jimmy was just, pitching gasoline on the fire for some reason. And none of this shit would have ever happened. I'd have had no particular reason to have had Russo back on had Jimmy not gone on the 45-minute rant and then refused to speak with him, debate him, or anything on any level. And now his pitch is that people just don't understand how bad I hate this guy. Don't you understand utter hatred? No, I don't. In Jimmy's defense, he says Russo cost a lot of his friends their jobs. Well, he was put in charge, and that was his job, was to determine who worked and who didn't. Jimmy didn't have any say in that matter. And then apparently he's pissed that it come down to picking Russo or Jimmy in TNA, and they went with Russo. And in the WWE, apparently the same thing happened there. And, I guess he would hate me just as bad had the WWE picked me over him if I were working. And but I have no desire to even do what him and Russo were doing. I'm not a writer. I mean, I can control my own shit, but I don't want to control an entire 3-hour show. I don't want to do all the booking, so to say. I have absolutely no desire to do that. Never have. Why? Because I don't particularly think I'd be that good at it, to be honest with you.
Well, that's a monster to deal with in itself.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ.
You got to be an egotistical, no offense to Russo or Cornette, but in my opinion, you got to be an egotistical prick to want that goddamn job.
In today's world, not 20 years.
Yeah, in today's world.
Today's world, because that's
25 years ago, maybe not.
Right.
Or when it was territorial, maybe.
Right. When you're only booking an hour of TV a week.
You're booking an hour of TV a week, not 9 hours of programming and all the shit that comes along with WWE Network. And it seemingly never ends. Wrestling starts on Sunday and ends on Sunday.
It never ends. We've talked about it on the show numerous times, how the 3 hours is too much, all this stuff. But
it is.
The bottom line is to actually be a wrestling fan nowadays and to consume all of the content that WWE specifically puts out, it's like a part-time job. You need 20 hours a week to consume it all.
Well, and that's probably, and I've got a free password to the WWE Network, and I think I've seen 3 matches from. I never saw any of this year's WrestleMania at all. There wasn't anything that happened on that show I even gave a shit to see. I think I saw 2 or 3 matches from the previous year. I try to see whatever Damian Sandow was doing because he's a dear friend, and I really felt they were screwing him pretty good for being good at his job.
Yeah, they did.
And I thought I wanted to see that when they had all the old celebrities, or the WWE celebrities, if you want to call them that. Because some people call me a celebrity, so I guess if they can call me that, you can certainly call these guys that. They were at least known worldwide.
Hey, you got the blue check mark now on Facebook.
I got the blue check mark. It took 8 years for them to even offer it to me. So, and I made a bit of a big deal out of it. I was proud to have that because that put me in there with the big boys. And you're talking about a guy who basically, what are you two doing? I'm looking at my 2 dogs here. They're up to no good. Anytime they know I'm busy, they go into business for themselves. All right, you two, calm down. Behave. Cow, go night-night. Go night-night. That means go to the closet, and he did. And Chocodile sits here by me like a good little girl. Oh, now they're both kissing up to me. Hey, just like wrestlers, aren't you? You get yelled at, and you start kissing ass. All right, so what was I talking about?
Oh, you were about to talk about Sandow, and then I jumped in with the blue check mark.
The blue check mark, yeah. 8 years, however long I've been on Facebook, 8-9 years. And they've never even considered offering me the blue check mark. And then all of a sudden, And I've got like 3 or 4 accounts. I've got the primary one that everyone contacts me at, which is /StarMaker Bolin. And of course, we have the Bolin Alley that Harry Barnett created. And he primarily runs that. I chime in every now and then, but you never know, because whenever anyone gets answered a question, it just lights up the Bolin Alley. So it could be me or it could be Harry, but people really have no way to know unless we say, and we rarely do. But we're the only 2 that run that. And then there's another one that somebody made. I didn't even make it. The one that got verified had a grand total of 67 likes.
I saw that.
It had 67 likes, and someone else made it, and it said Bolin for president. I guess they really thought I was running. And I come in one day, and I'll be goddamn if that thing doesn't have the blue check mark. I said, wait a minute. You know, I've got this one over here that's had 5,000 fans, give or take a few, for just about ever since a year after I had the thing. A year, it might have took me a year or 2 to build the 5,000. And I have deleted, I delete 10 or 20 names a night because I go through the birthdays. And if you have not written me, and especially if you haven't bought anything from me, you get your ass deleted. But if you've written me, you get a reprieve. Yeah. You know, if you buy something, if some people can't buy anything, I understand that. But because I remember most of my customers, and I believe it or not, I remember most people who write me, even though I can't remember when the hell to do your show, even though you told me yesterday. Long-term memory's fine. Short-term memory for the shit. And I come in and I see the blue check mark on the page. It's got 67 likes. And I was sitting over there. You mean to tell me they look, because the Bolin Alley one's got, and I know why people don't go to them, because they know I'm not there. If you want to reach me, you reach me at /StarMaker Bolin. Yeah. If you write the Bolin Alley, you're more than likely getting a hold of Harry. They know I don't go there that much. Every now and then, you know, but not often. And then I see this one that I didn't even make. I didn't make the Bolin Alley one either. And it's got 67 likes and the verified check by it. I said, "Are you shitting me?" They verify that one, but ignore the one that's constantly had 5,000 fans and all this fucking shit and all the celebrities that have written me on there, all the WWE. I mean, you're not going to go through and check every email I've ever had, I guess, but you think you would see that page gets a lot more traffic. I've been there forever, and if I'm not the real Kenny Bolin, then I've been fooling 5,000 people a year for about 7 or 8 years now.
But that's because that's your personal page. It's not like a public figure page.
Oh, so is that why that they don't verify?
Yeah.
Well, Al Snow's has got a. That's what excited.
Is that his personal page?
Yeah, it's just like mine. It's his personal page.
And it's not his fan page or like
no, not a.
Okay.
No, it's.
Well then,
like,
I get something wrong. Then, yeah.
Yeah, Al's is just like mine. I mean, it's,
I'm wrong then.
Well, fuck, get used to it. So I, but you know what? Now that you mention it, most of the ones have that like page because you can have 1 billion likes if you want.
Right. You don't. You're not.
For whatever reason, you can't have 5,000 fans.
Right.
But you take a look at Al Snow's and you tell me, because I could be wrong, but. It's not a like page. It's you can request friends and all that on it like mine. So take a look at Al's and tell me.
No, I just looked at it. You're right. Al's is
just like mine.
Just like yours, blue check. It's not a fan page. It's his personal page.
Right. So I'm like you. I didn't realize, because they wanted me to merge pages, and I said, well, that'd be cool. They said if they're similar. Well, obviously they are, but it says you then run the risk if we change our mind of us killing both accounts. I said, well, fuck you. You know, I've been on here, you know, this is how people.
Yeah, you're not going to kill my main page.
No, I don't give a shit if you kill this one. You just put the blue check mark on, but you ain't taking my main page. Right. That would take forever to rebuild that back up and get all my customers back and everything. It would, it'd be a pain in the ass. MySpace did that to me once. I was up. Oh, hell, this is back in the early 2000s, 2003, 2004. And hey, doggies, that's enough. You're going to hear me yell at the dogs a lot, apparently, because they don't know how to behave. Calm down. One's a Labrador and the other's a pit bull, and they love to play, but they get a little rough sometimes. Hey,
I can hear.
Did you two hear me? You better. Now they're laying down acting. In the minute I turn my back, they're going to be back at it again. Yeah, they're great dogs when you're not looking at. When you are looking at them, you turn your back, then all this they get into. They're just like little babies, little pet monkeys is all they are. I always tell them they're my pet monkeys. All right. So once again, what was I talking about?
I ain't got a clue.
So I wasn't paying any attention, and neither were you. This is a hell of a damn talk.
No, it is a great podcast. Well, I was gonna tell you. So yeah, I saw Cornette yesterday, and I just walked up to him because we got introduced by a mutual friend of ours, and Cornette told me he was gonna do my show when we met.
Right.
And I said, "How you doing, Mr. Cornette?"
Cornette says a lot of shit he don't. Go ahead.
Hold on. I said, told him my name. Hey, it's Mike Mills, friend of Rod Price's. He introduces. Oh yeah, I remember you from Parade of Champions, and that was all he said. And I'm sitting there thinking, is he gonna say anything?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. I wasn't rude. I said, no, I just wanted to come over and tell you hello. That was all. And I left it at that, and I just walked off because I didn't want to piss him off.
I would have said, hey, you fucking lying cocksucker. Bolin must be right about you. You told me he's gonna do my show, and then you didn't. Was Bolin right again? He said Russo was a good guy, and he said you was a lying cocksucker. Looks like Bolin's 2-0.
Oh shit. I wasn't gonna go to. He looked like he was in a mood. He looked like.
Was it yesterday? Or the day before?
Sunday. It was a Sunday.
Yeah. He's been pissed over people wanting to know if Russo's a work or not.
Well, here was my
guys. I can let you know 100%. He does hate Russo. I wish he didn't. I don't. But then again, I think Jimmy feels that if he forgives Russo's, his diehard fans will be upset at him that he did.
Well, and I'm glad you said that because I'm always skeptical about everything.
Of course, I mean it's your human nature. If you've been around this business enough,
it's always
suspect everything. So.
Right, you go. Hold on, where's the work at? I mean,
you've heard the great debate. You've heard the great debate between me and Jimmy, right?
Yeah, that was the one. Y'all did that a while ago,
about 7-8 years ago. And I want you to know that still to this day, people listen to that show. It's got about 60,000 listens, and it's really gone up a lot here because not long ago it was like 48,000, and I looked at it last night, and it's over 60-something thousand views.
God dang.
And there's people out there that get millions for jacking off to a weenie dog. I mean, I don't know how they get these millions of hits of people that want to see that. I think me and Jimmy are pretty entertaining, but you would be amazed how it is split almost 50-50 as to how many people think what me and Jimmy were doing on that show was work or shoot. Even Jerry Jarrett doesn't know.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's just the business. It corrupts you into thinking that everything is a work.
Yeah, well, these are smart marks who think they know everything, and even they're split about 50-50.
That's even better.
Oh, so what do you do?
Well, so like here was my take on it. So I'm always skeptical. I'm always trying to figure out what's real, what's not. The thing about with Cornette and Russo, that here's my perception and my idea of what's going on, and you can tell me if you agree, disagree.
All right.
I think, to me, and I think Prince kind of alluded at this with something else related to Jim Cornette. I think he's been Jim Cornette so long, and the Russo thing has been going on for so long, that even if it's not real anymore, to him it's still real.
Yeah.
Because it's become him. So even though he may have been working at first, or they may have been some form of work involved in it,
right?
It's gone on so long now that, to the point you made, he can't turn his back on it and make up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me saying he's working. It's just that you tell people something for so long. I think you said this. You start to believe it yourself.
Yeah. Well, I've done it. I have told shit that's not true, and told it so damn long that I believe it.
And after a while,
after 20 years of telling this shit, I start believing my own lie. I've done it, so I know damn well he does.
So I think that I really think, because I'm a Jim Cornette fan. I've always been.
There's a lot of people are.
But
There's
at the same
10,
time,
there's 10 or 12 of you out there like him.
but at the same time,
No,
if you remember
about-
when you had Russo on,
about
and
9.
about if you remember at the same time when I had when you had Russo on the first time, and I called in and talked to him, I can respect what he did, and I also think he gets too much of the blame. I'm not saying he should go blameless on certain things, but I think everybody tries to pin too much on him because there's always more than one person.
Exactly. And that's what I thought for years and years, because I only heard one side of the story, but after hearing both sides, I have a different opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, Russo's got a compelling case. Now, I will tell you what I did laugh at when y'all had Russo on the second time. When Harry pulled up the YouTube of the yellow canary suit. when Jimmy said he never.
He really got mad about that.
Oh, was he pissed?
Oh, Jesus. He was not happy when that little clip started showing up around the country.
I shouldn't say too much about it.
Yeah, probably should.
I'm still hopeful. I'm
basically trying to save what friendship we have right now, because he's so pissed over this, and I'm not backing down. And I've told him to grow the fuck up and get over this, and especially not to be mad at me because I fucking interviewed him. And but he's got people out there that are contacting him. People at Kayfabe Commentaries and some others. I think David Shear, a couple others have written him and say, "Hey, Bolin's talking to this guy. This shit between y'all will work." Well, just because I'm talking to him doesn't dictate how Jimmy feels about him. And if I hated everybody Jimmy hated, I wouldn't have a podcast. I'd have nobody to talk to.
That's the thing that makes me mad about the wrestling business in general.
Yeah.
Is there's so many people who don't like each other.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people don't like me, and mainly because they try to perceive me as the guy that I was on television, and so they come in with that. And there's so many stories that have been told on me, mainly by Cornette, to where people say, "What a fucking asshole this guy is." So they already think they know me when they don't. And then, and then when they get to know me for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, they realize, you know what? Maybe Bolin ain't as bad as Cornette said he was. And why would Cornette be friends with me for 40 years if a third of this shit, he said, if a tenth of it was even remotely true? Well, everything that he tells is enhanced and to make me look like a dick, and which I've never given a shit because it keeps people talking about me. So I cared.
I was going to tell you, so, I didn't live
and in some lights, I am a dick. So, hey, that's enough.
We got the dogs making a debut on Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast,
Choco.
everybody.
Yeah, Choco hurt my tooth, Cal. All right, that's it. No more. I'm sorry, honey. Yeah, Choco apparently nipped his leg and hurt him. Come here, Cal. Yeah, come here. My Cal got hurt a little bit. Bad girl. Yeah, they were playing and she nipped his leg. I'm sorry, honey. Everybody here, just hear what a dick I am. I'm having to console my two little doggies. Oh, did she get your paw, honey? She get your paw? I'm sorry. Poor little bit. That's my Cal. Everybody knows me knows about Cal. Oh, okay. He's not limping now, so he's doing better. Okay. So good God. You're bad. She's a lot littler than he is, so when the shit starts going south, she bites him in the leg.
When it hits the fan, she shoots.
Normally,
she shoots on him.
She does. She normally. They play every day, and then. But when the shit's going south on her, she bites him in the back leg.
Shit hits the fan, she bites him.
Where he can't do anything about it. But
what I was getting ready to say was, the reason people probably feel that way about you, because some people, I mean, like me, I never got to see you in OVW because I didn't live in the area where it was televised. Yeah. But I can tell you, as an MLW fan, when I used to listen to a lot of the shows.
When I first started on there, people really hated me.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, because he positioned you as. Let me tell you, my co-host, you haven't met him yet.
Let's remember. That way.
Well. I remember him telling me, he goes, "Man, I don't know who this Bolin guy is, but god damn, like, because."
I was reading the YouTube comments today over me having some comments about, started to call him Brian Pillman for a minute, Dean Ambrose. And bam,
Yeah, I was going to ask you
people are in
about
my shit over this just because of what my opinion. Oh, he don't know nothing about the wrestling business. I never heard of Kenny Bolin until 2 days ago. And I said, well, Google me or Wikipedia me, you stupid prick. You know, do your goddamn homework.
Well, what did you say about Ambrose? They got the Ambrose
I'll let you watch it. It's about a 7-minute clip that's on
Okay.
It's on Trax TV, and it's me talking about how I don't think Ambrose is the right fit for the position that he's in. I've stated that he might be a nice guy, but I hate his look. Okay. I'm not much on his promos, and his work is suspect at best.
And the people got pissed off about that.
That's about the worst thing I said about him. And that he was a Terry Funk wannabe. He's an admitted Terry Funk wannabe. But they got pissed. He's more like Brian Pillman. Well, whatever. One deranged lunatic or the other. Pick one. I don't give a shit. But there's other people that in my opinion, and it's strictly what it is my opinion, deserves to be in that position. But they act like I wasn't qualified to make a statement, because many of these little young assholes, since I retired 4 years ago, and hell, I did commentary 4 years before that, as far as they're concerned, I've never spent a day in the business. I don't know shit. They don't realize that I've been behind the scenes ever since I was 14 years old, actively working in it probably since I was 17 or 18. Wasn't necessarily getting paid, but you know, I was able to make money, just not through the promotion. And then got hired in it at 27 because I had other things going on and could not take the gamble of working these $25 shows. And that's where some people say, well, you didn't love the business enough if you didn't want to work for $0 to $25 a night. Well, no, you're right. I like to make money. And I didn't want to live in my mother's basement, even though she never had one. Live in my mother's basement all my life. And then go to do a show and lose $75 doing the show just so I can say I worked with Ole Anderson or Arn Anderson, or what, because I know people that have done that. A girl I know worked the Pittsburgh show, and she's going to lose about $130. I said, why are you going to lose $130 to do that show? Well, I just want to put on my resume that I worked with Arn Anderson. Well, you're not working with Arn Anderson. You're at a show that Arn Anderson was on. They may or may not even book you on the show. You're going there asking to work. You don't even know they're going to use you. And why would they? You know, and I would say the girl's name, but it was just embarrassing. I don't know. And this would be embarrassing a girl that went on to do porn after she left OVW.
Oh, okay.
We even found out she did porn before she came to OVW, but she denied that, and then somebody actually found the videos.
Well, back then they were hiring, just tens on a scale.
Well, it was harder to find that shit on the internet back then, but you can find it pretty easy now. I never was that person. I thought I had value to me the day I got in the business. I had learned from Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler. I learned from Jarrett the booking mentality, and I learned from Lawler the performance mentality. And I knew from a young age, and I used to practice at high school. I practiced on how to make people hate me. As long as my 2 or 3 best friends liked me, a Mike Coffey, a Mike Heilman, a couple others, Steve Emery, a few others. As long as my initial core that I knew me liked me, I didn't give a fuck what the other 900 people in that high school thought. I wanted them to hate me because I was preparing myself for a life in wrestling. So I tried to be controversial. I always cut promos on people. I had the bluff on everybody. I guarantee you I talked 10 times tougher than I was. There's a lot of people that probably could have whipped me or at least given me a shot that wouldn't do it because I talked a good fight. And they knew that I knew Jerry Lawler. And they knew that I had a pretty good, I was 212 in amateur wrestling, but that don't mean shit in a real fight. You and I know that. Yeah. For the most part. I mean, I guess it could come in handy if you want to choke somebody out, but
yeah, I mean, it helps.
Normally the cops don't like it when you choke somebody to death.
Generally, that's not a good thing.
So, but I guarantee you I had the bluff on a lot of people because I had the ability to talk at a young age. I could, I don't know if I've told you the story or not. I think it's in my book a little bit, and I've talked about it on a few shows, is that Jerry Lawler got pissed at, I think his, what was he going by here? He wasn't going as Hulk Hogan. He was, it was Terry and Eddie Bolin or something like that. Terry and Eddie Boulder Excuse me, Terry and Eddie.
Yeah.
And he got real pissed at Terry one night because he couldn't fucking cut a promo, and he was in like take 54. This was backstage at Rupp Arena. And he got pissed and said, Kenny, stand up and tell him what you're going to do to Bill Dundee Tuesday night at the Louisville Gardens. And he said, Terry, this kid is 17 years old, and I guarantee you he can do this in 1 or 2 takes and tell us what he's going to do to Bill Dundee and sell us some tickets. And he put me on the spot and had me do it. And I guarantee you Hogan don't remember, and if he did, he'd never fucking admit it. And I
was about to say, he ain't going to admit to it.
But, no, I watched him go through like 54 takes one night, and they couldn't wait to get rid of Terry and Eddie, which was Brutus Beefcake and Hulk Hogan. They also couldn't wait to get rid of Sting and the Ultimate Warrior. We had them here as the... God, you might remember they tagged here, and I don't think they was here 3 weeks.
Were they still the Blade Runners?
The Blade Runners, and they were freaking horrible. Hogan was not very good. He was getting blown up in matches. You got to remember, I can't remember if they called him the Hulk or not, but he went on and became Hulk Hogan in the AWA. The next time I saw Hogan after he left here, he was in a Rocky movie. So,
oh yeah, that was a long time.
That was a long time ago, and he had been gone a while when he showed up in the AWA and was doing the Hogan thing in the Rocky movie, or whatever the fuck they called him on the Rocky movie. I don't forget.
Thunder Lips.
Thunder Lips. That's what it was.
Yeah, so, Thunder Lips. I'll never forget that.
But no, he
got heat over doing that movie.
Oh, he probably did.
No, it was a fact. He got a lot of heat from doing the movie, and then. I forget the exact story, but he wasn't going to be able to.
You let Sylvester Stallone call me, and I'm in the wrestling business making dick, and Stallone offers me a major part in his movie. You goddamn right, I'm going to be there, and they want to get pissed about it. They can get pissed.
Yep.
Well, my girlfriend's trying to write me. She has been for about 20 minutes now, and I can't write her back because my keyboard's broke, so I've just been sending her those little smiley things back and forth. That's all I can do with anybody, and I can't, so I'm going to... And it's hard to get a phone call through to her in the Philippines right now because it's the rainy season, and their internet sucks during the rainy season. So you almost have to pick and choose when you get a signal. So I don't know. Well, I told Mayara, the writer, my daughter-in-law down in Nashville, and let her know, hey, he can't type to you for the next 3-4 days, waiting on my keyboard to get here.
Wait.
So I don't know if she's got the message yet or not. So I don't know. And sometimes I can call her on Facebook, sometimes not. Sometimes I can call her on Skype, sometimes not. So that's why I'm moving there next summer and just put an end to this shit. And I figured it'd be a good place to retire to, and it's dirt cheap to live over there. And I've got enough money saved that I can live the rest of my life very comfortably over there. I've probably got enough I can make it here, but I definitely got enough to make it over there. So
StarMaker is leaving the States.
Leaving the States, it looks like. As it stands right now, my son's going with me, and probably my daughter-in-law as well. There is a chance she might remain behind here and finish her school and then join us later. Because Chris is going to be going to school over there as well.
Oh, okay.
So that will be between March and October of next year. The earliest will be March. The latest will be October.
So are you still going to be selling the Beats by Bolin? And
well,
all your,
you know what? Sadly, really about all I'll be selling is probably my book on Amazon because it costs fucking much to ship things over there. I mean, not that I won't be trying to peddle them over there. And the good thing I got going for me is I've been on TV over there. They said like 24 of the last 27 weeks. They've been inserting a match with me and Cena every week for the better part of half a year over there.
I remember the first time we talked, you were talking about how they had been.
I think she said I've been on 24 out of 27 weeks. And she said the matches are in their entirety. I do interviews, promos, everything. And over here, whenever they show a package, I never speak because I think they know if I do, I've definitely got them in a lawsuit. I think they can show me and they think they can get by with it. I don't even know if that's true. I've talked to a couple attorneys about it that think that I probably have a case. But you know, unless I get an attorney that wants to take it for free, and then you got to take on the WWE's attorney. So it's an uphill battle from the start, or they might pay me a fair amount to go away. So you never know. You never know. But
I I gotta ask you a question. Well, go ahead. I didn't mean
No,
to cut
you
you off.
didn't. Go ahead.
So I was listening. I don't know if you know this, but so I've had the great Brian Lass on my show a couple of
Well,
times.
I call him Brian, but go ahead.
Brian. All right.
The great Harry Barnett is the host of my show.
So
How many great
Brian and I. Oh yeah. You're right. You got the great Harry
Yeah.
Barnett. That's true. So I'm listening to his show, and he was telling me this story too about the whole you guys tried to rig up a phone line into the back of a TV thinking you'd get the reception from the city from which the caller was calling
it
from.
was
And if I'm
actually
wrong,
it was actually my mother was dating a man named Bob Edgerton, and he was retired from South Central Bell Telephone Company. His son, his two sons, one of them I'm very close friends with today, and the guy I'm getting ready to tell you about was either committed suicide or he was murdered when he fell out of a 4-story building here in Louisville years and years ago. And his name was Bradley Edgerton, and he was a technological genius. He could take apart and put together anything, especially electronically. And he convinced me and Cornette that if you patched in the television through its antenna terminals to the phone line coming out of the phone jack and then dialed up that city, that it would work. And I said, well, you know what? That fucking makes sense to me. You know, I'm like 17, 16 years old. And I'm like,
wait, StarMaker, go back a second. I say it again because I find it fascinating. What exactly did he tell you?
He told us, well, he was going to do it for us. I mean, I wasn't going to fucking do it. But he told us that he had discovered that, and he had heard people that were doing this, and it works, that he can run a line from the phone jack, splice it into the antenna terminals of the television, dial up the city, which, of course, you got to remember, there wasn't no free long distance back then. Long distance cost a motherfucker. I mean, as a matter of fact, you could call Henry County, which was exactly 4 miles down the road from where I lived, and it was long distance. But I could call most of southern Indiana, which was as far as 40 miles away from me, for free.
Yeah, it never made sense.
Yeah, I could call 40 miles away for free, but if I called 4 miles down the road where my brother lives, it was long distance. So, so me and Jimmy look at each other, and I'm like, you know what? I think that'll fucking work. You know, Bradley's got a good thing. He's got a good idea here. I'll get some extra phone line, and we're going to give this fucking thing a shot. So sure enough, Bradley shows up, and he splices that phone wire, and it looks like he knows what he's doing. And he spliced into that thing. He spliced into the phone jack, and we hook up my 25-inch black and white console television, because that's all I had then. And he splices it into the antenna terminals, and he's looking. I can picture him plain as day, like he did it yesterday. And I was 16 years old. I'm 56 now, so 40 years. It was the first year me and Cornette knew each other.
So this is 40 years ago.
40 years ago, damn near to the day. The
1976.
summer of 76 is when he did this. I remember the room I was set in, my room on Main Street that had the train go by. The railroad tracks were like 15 feet from my window. That's how close, maybe 20 feet. 20 feet from my window max. And no air conditioning. Cornette hated coming over there because I had no air for about a year. And until I won one at Western Auto, but that's another story for another show. And we splice it in, and now we're thinking, well, God, we dial them up. Let's call Tampa, see if we can get Florida wrestling. So it's fucking
awesome.
80 cents a minute or something, whatever it was back then.
Right? Yeah, it was. I was about to say,
Oh,
people.
fuck! It was.
If we got young people listening to this that don't realize how much.
Oh, 10-minute call might be $12.
Right.
It's fucking ridiculous. Exactly. No, young people have no fucking clue.
And we talking $12 in 30 to 40 years ago money.
Oh yeah, 30 to 40 year ago money. Not $10 today.
I can't do the inflation in my head, but we're talking major
probably
dollars.
Probably a $25, $30 phone call for 10 minutes.
Right,
They're
exactly.
bitching about their cell phone plans. We're talking about a $30 fucking phone call, based on today's money, give or take. And so we splice it in. I call Tampa, Florida, where my grandmother lives, thinking this shit's going to work. Yeah, I'll just talk to grandma, and we'll watch Florida wrestling. And all we ever got on that TV was fucking snow. We didn't get shit. Didn't get anything. It didn't work. Me and Cornette were so pissed. We were going to split the money on the phone call. if we got a signal, he's going to spend 40 cents a minute and watch Florida wrestling or whatever, and we'd have the scoop on everybody because we heard that Jerry Lawler was making some shots down there, so we were going to try and find out what channel they were on, and we had big plans for this thing, man. We was going to be dialing the fucking world watching wrestling. But it didn't. It was Bradley Edgerton, that little shit, and then he got. A lot of people say he got shoved out a window, but it went down that he got drunk and committed suicide. So, depending who you believe, he was a good little kid, man. I really liked him a lot. He was probably 3 years younger than me and Jimmy, but he was a fucking genius. Maybe not at this, but had other shit that worked. He was pretty damn good. And me and his brother are still good friends today. I go to dinner with his brother every now and then.
I can imagine the look on your face when all y'all saw was snow coming through that TV.
Well,
because you were really thinking it. You had convinced. Because let me.
Bradley convinced me it worked.
So you were convinced that y'all really had something.
Yes. We,
until you saw the snow.
Until we saw the snow, and then we would reconnect and redial, and I probably spent fucking $15 trying to get a goddamn signal. Cornette wasn't going to pay shit unless it worked, so. But he was convinced too. He thought it would work, and if he tells you otherwise, he's lying.
No. I wholeheartedly, like I said, he's the one who promised he was going to come on my show and
wanted to tell that story. So, well, no, he told me the other thing because I had to fill in for him on like 2 or 3 other things up here that we both were supposed to do, but he was too busy, couldn't do it, and then so instead of sticking these people with nothing, I ended up doing it. One of them was a 5-day interview that I did with a guy named, I better hope I remember his name right, Mike Mills down in, that's Feud, so I didn't do it with Mike Mills. See, I almost had that lie going until I dropped the wrong name. You know what? I'm going to be pissed until I figure. Let me see what his fucking name is. My girlfriend's probably madder than a motherfucker right now. She doesn't realize why I'm not writing her. Ah, well, she's getting a lot of smiley faces out. Daddy Bear happy today. Wasn't Christopher Fell, wasn't Levi Dykes, wasn't Billy Hamilton of the Reds. Will Sweetie. That's his name. Will Sweetie. That's just like Mike Mills. I can't believe I got those two mixed up.
Yeah, I know, man.
But yeah, Will Sweetie, and he did 5 days worth of interviews with me. It was supposed to be me and Cornette, but Cornette was too busy. And a couple other things he's supposed to do, and he was too busy. He wasn't doing anything unless it paid him money. I said, well, you're the one that fucking agreed to do it, drug me into it. So I wasn't going to stick to people, so I honored it and did it for him. Never dreamed the one thing was a 5-day deal. I thought it was going to be a 2-hour interview over dinner. Well, the good thing about it, he bought dinner every night, though. So.
Oh, well, that's
not
good.
only for me, but for the prince and his wife as well. So.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
he was a good guy. We even covered his dinner a couple of times while he was up here. We took him to Clarksville Seafood and took him to Raising Cane's. And we did not do Golden Corral, though. We didn't slide Golden Corral in on that one.
Speaking of Golden Corral, why don't you go ahead and plug Breakfast with Bolin now for the people. Are the DVDs available yet?
Oh, yeah. It got renamed to Buffet with Bolin because we wanted...
That's right.
Jimmy and I both thought that had a better ring, but the artist made Breakfast with Bolin artwork first. So we put that out. And I didn't mind Breakfast with Bolin. I thought that was okay, too. But we ended up going with Buffet with Bolin. And so you haven't ordered your copy yet, I take it.
I haven't ordered my copy yet, no. But I will.
Okay. They're twice as much for podcast people. We figure y'all have money.
You figure we have money? Yeah. You know what? I'll tell Cornette that. Then name your price. I'll bring you on.
Well, you never
gave
me that offer, you fucker. As a matter of fact, I was looking at YouTube today, and Jimmy was shitting all over my ratings that I had with Russo, and he kept trying to say they were bogus numbers. So I'd never really called Harry out on our ratings before. I knew that on a monthly basis, we averaged between 20 and 30,000 downloads a month. And I was pleased with that. I thought that's pretty good for basically a local boy that never left Louisville to have 20, 30,000 fans listen to him a month. I didn't have any problem with that. So, but then I find out from Harry that the Russo thing got 36,000 downloads in like 24 hours. And I was thinking, well, shit, that's pretty damn good. So I put it out there on Twitter, what we'd done. Of course, Jimmy didn't like that. And then I posted that we had done 79,000 downloads in like 3 or 4 days. And he didn't like that. So he calls me and he says, where do you get your ratings from? He said, I know you think quite a bit about your little show. I said, well, yeah, I've been doing it for 10 years now. Sneaking up on 11. Yeah, I do think quite a bit about it. So what makes you think that you and Russo could draw higher ratings than me and Ric Flair with me having the backing of the MLW network? And I said, well, number one, you must think way more highly of the MLW network than I do. I said, because I won't do their damn. I'm not working for these fuckers 4 or 5 days a week for no goddamn more money than you all get. I said, I will do my show when I want to, once a month, like I've done for quite a while now. I think the last 5 years, I've only done one a month. I got out of the once a week when I was with Who's Slamming Who. So I said, Harry, can you prove how many downloads we've got? I said, because apparently we stomped Jimmy and Ric Flair's ass. And I said, and he's pissed. I said, so I need to see these ratings and I need proof. He said, yeah, I can get them for you. He says, I'm out of town for a couple of days, but he said, I'll get you a screenshot from the server. I said, well, that'd be good enough if you can do that. That'd be kind of hard to doctor, or at least beyond our skills. So he sends me a screenshot, and he was wrong. We didn't have 79,000 downloads. We had 155,000 downloads from his first visit, and we had 95,000 downloads from his second visit, which had only been running a week. So in 2 shows that I did with Russo, we had over 250,000 downloads. Now that was a week ago. It might be much higher than that now. And so I'm thinking, holy shit. So whatever Cornette did with Flair, it was apparently under 38,000. Because that was
that low?
That was when he was bitching about our ratings. And that you're claiming that yours did better than mine. I said, well, I don't. So I'm going to ask, you know what? Why don't you, without bringing up this subject, say, hey, what was your total downloads for your all's Ric Flair show? And then write me back and tell me what he tells you. Because he probably won't give me the straight answer. So that's what I'm getting. He might, I don't know. Cornette won't, I know that. So let me know what his did. But so I took that as a slap in the face that just because I'm not on MLW or Podcast One,
it's a lot different.
That my show just basically humors just to humor me. And I, Cornette may not like this either, but I sell probably as much, if not more merchandise than he does. And I know my book outsold his, which he's not happy about.
Well, I tell people all the time with podcasts, it's when you're an independent, and I consider like yours, mine, anyone who is not on
if we're not on one of those networks, I would consider us independents. Yeah.
And it says a lot when your show does good ratings because you don't have that, call it the machine behind you of a network. Exactly. Well, that helps you out with downloads.
Now those numbers, let me add to this. That is only from Podcast Garden. That's their numbers. That doesn't include what we get on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, iTunes, and one called Mixler. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
MIXLR. Now, all those carry our show as well. They don't carry, a couple of those don't carry the live version, Mixler and iTunes. The live versions are carried by YouTube, Facebook, and Podcast Garden. And so all those numbers I gave you are Podcast Garden only. We've had over 50,000 downloads combined of all of our Russo segments, just on the last appearance alone. I haven't even gone back to look to see what the first appearance numbers are. That's just on the last appearance. So you add 50,000 of those just from YouTube. Whatever we got on Facebook, and I don't, Harry has those numbers, I don't. And then whatever iTunes and Mixler did. So now we're talking huge motherfucking numbers. Beyond the 250,000. I mean, we're talking maybe 400,000, maybe more.
So Cornette was mad at you about that?
Well, he thought I was lying about it. And I said, well, why would I admit that we averaged 20 to 30,000 a month, which was about what we were averaging. But ever since Russo came on the first time, listen to this shit. I had one show I did where basically the guest was my plumber. I don't know if you heard that bowling alley or not, but you got to listen to it.
I did.
Well, Chris hated it. Chris thought it was the worst show we'd ever did. My plumber was basically the guest. I'm carrying on with him throughout the end of the show. And then we go into a lights out segment about something stupid. I don't know. It was just a stupid fucking show. It drew 95,000 downloads.
With your plumber?
With my plumber.
Shit.
So now Russo gets us 155 on one, and we're probably pushing about 100 on the other. My plumber drew 95,000.
Shit. StarMaker. Why don't you bring me on there?
I guess we're going to have to. Just what the hell? Get two podcasts.
I'd love to see if I could even get half of that.
I think most of us would be happy with that. I was happy with but see, I never really worried that much about the numbers. I just can, and then I heard fucking, what's his name? God damn, so apparently he badmouths me on his show every now and then, or more, not so much badmouth, but the backhand slap. He thinks he fucking knows everything. God damn it, Colt Cabana.
Oh,
well, apparently Colt Cabana was bragging about he was doing his 300th show or something like that. I said, you do realize that I have done probably way over 500 shows. So we just came up with a week we're going to decide it's our 500th show and go around. Hell, I've probably done closer to 600 in the last 11 years. And but he was bragging about 300. He's done more shows than anybody. Well, that's why I do one show a month. I'm more concerned about the quality than I am the quantity. I can do 2 shows a week. I'm retired. I ain't got much to do. I probably don't. I do watch a lot of television, but I like my TV time. I like going out and having dinner with my friends and family here locally. And, and mixing with the fans every now and then from time to time, as long as they buy something. And I just never really cared that much. The hell, if 20 or 30,000 people were listening, I was pleased. Well, now I've seen that, and a lot of this is thanks to Russo. Russo, ever since his show, we've been doing astronomical numbers for like 6-7 months now. And I didn't even know it because I never asked. And then I asked Harry I said, well, why didn't you tell me? He said, well, he acted like he never cared. And I said, well, I guess up till now I didn't. Until Cornette tried to shit all over my show and my ratings, acting like he's a big fucking deal because he's on MLW. Well, apparently Conan does better numbers than Cornette, and he left. And there's been 2 or 3 others that have left over there. I don't know if MVP's still doing a show or not. But apparently my numbers are bigger than anybody they've got. And I don't know what Jim Ross and Jericho and all those guys and Steve Austin do. But I guarantee you factor in all the sources that carry my show, I've probably given them a run for their money. And
Jim Ross does exceptional numbers.
Well, I would think he does, and I would think Jericho and Steve Austin do as well. Those would be the big 3. But let me tell you this. When Jericho and I don't know if Jericho did Jimmy's show or not. I know Ross did, and I destroyed Jim Ross's numbers. The only person that has beat me on Jimmy's show was Stone Cold,
Steve
and
Austin.
He beat me by about 5,000. About 5,000 downloads, they said, is what he beat me by. I have destroyed everyone else from Lance Storm. No offense to Lance. I like Lance. But Lance Storm, Rip Rogers, all these they claim Rip Rogers beat me, but I found out from another source that's not the case. And I would have been real pissed if he had. So, but me and Rogers did a show together for a Chicago-based podcast. The ones that roasted me, did you ever hear that show? They did a 2-hour roast. Mike, how the fuck do you know anything about me? You don't hear the alley.
I hear Corn. I do hear the alley. I didn't hear the plumber.
Well, he was a month or 2. We had Russo, then we had Bill After. Bill After got 100,000 downloads.
The Bill After one was good. Bill After was good. I think Bill After's a little crazy with the I don't know if he's talked about this on your show when he talked about how he thinks Benoit died and whatnot. But I enjoyed Bill After.
In a nutshell, how does he think Benoit died?
He thinks Benoit
set up.
Yeah, he thinks Benoit was mixed up with some bad people, and what happened was the people that came after him for whatever reasons they needed to come after him. You know, they killed Nancy, Daniel, and then they made it look like Benoit hung himself. Now he says that, but but I read a long article on not Benoit's sister. Um, what's it? God, what's her name? Woman's sister. I can't think of. I think
I
her
don't
name.
know her name. I
But
love
anyway,
woman, but I don't know her sister.
she was on Jericho's show,
Yeah.
and she has said that, talked about why it wasn't a setup. Evidently, they found things in Benoit's computer over the course of weeks and months of him, how he was gonna hang himself, and it was yeah.
I hadn't heard any of that.
I don't listen to not Benoit. I don't listen to Jericho's show.
I haven't heard it.
I haven't heard it one show. I listened to this one show, and I will say
I tell you who I would listen to if they had a podcast. There's really only one or two, and people, don't you listen to your own show? Well, fuck, I just did it. Why would I listen to it again?
Right.
It's like, now I would go back and watch my segments on TV every now and then, because sometimes I would leave the studio hating what I did and then get home and say, well, you know what, it wasn't that bad. And there's other times I think I was fucking great and get home and, God damn, that sucked. So for those, it was good to critique yourself every now and then. But for radio, I pretty much, unless something just really cracked me up, like when we did one bowling alley. No, we did one Cornette experience to where the topic of the show was I was promoting Arm the Children. And then I wanted to arm the deer. I wanted to give the deer a fighting chance. And if they had bullets in their antlers, the fucking deer hunters wouldn't be so fucking brave. And I said deer are getting back at us because they're doing what these terrorists do. They do the suicide mission. What do you think a deer's doing when it runs out in the middle of the road? Yeah, he knows he's going to die, but he's going to take about 7 Mexicans in a van out with him. So, Jesus. And then I went on to just insult every race, not just.
I remember.
It could have been 7 It could have been 7 Polacks. You never know. And you're not supposed to call them Polacks anymore either. They don't like that. And I want to go on the record and saying the people in Poland don't like to be called Polacks. And I only have one friend in Poland, and if he gets pissed, he'll just have to fucking get over it. So if you can't tell a Polak joke to somebody from Poland, then who the fuck can you tell them to?
Yeah.
They probably have American jokes. See, you can't offend me. That's why I let people make all these posts on these YouTube. I don't give a shit. Say what you want to say. As long as you don't come on my wall and be vulgar, then I don't care. Just say whatever you got to say, and if you're wrong, you'll be made an idiot.
Speaking of which, so before we wrap up, because I gotta get going. I don't want to keep you too long. We've been going almost an hour. I did get you saw we got a couple of questions from Twitter when I announced your
yes, I did.
Yeah,
I did. Let's answer those real quick.
Let's go through these real quick. So one guy, Cam Burnett, he said he wanted to know your thoughts on final deletion on TNA Impact.
I posted
Wrestling.
that on my wall. Anybody wants, because that's too long to go into here. I made a long rant about that. As a matter of fact, every time I do a rant, I say, I don't mean to get off on a rant here, but
you go off on a rant.
This one, I said, I do mean to get off on a rant here. No, you know what? I'm wrong. I made the rant about the fucking shootings.
Okay.
About the Dallas shootings. Now, that's where I went. I do mean to get off on a rant here. But yeah, everything I've got to say about that Hardy deletion, and it ain't good, is on my wall. You'll have to tap down a ways to get it, but it's long and lengthy, and I don't hold back shit. And if I met the Hardys today, I'd slap them both in the face for being so fucking stupid. But it was basically like they wanted to be Lucha Underground, and they said, you know what, we can do this even better than they did. They didn't, but when the elbow drop out of the tree came and he still kicked out, I went, oh, God. And then they had a boat, and then there was a costume change underwater. And I said, well, okay. Wrestling might be fake. I don't know.
So there you go, Cam. There's Mr. Bolin's
tab down my Facebook wall, and if you tab down far enough, you'll see what as a matter of fact, it's in response to a Harry Burnett post where he asked me to watch it. He damn near lost his position as host of my show for asking me to watch that piece of shit. But there's a lot of people that liked it, but mainly the young fucks that don't know any better. No offense to you young fucks out there that I just offended.
Yeah. Now,
those young people don't buy shit anyway because they ain't got no jobs.
Ain't got no job, ain't got no money. I did see you reply to one of the guys. He had asked you about he wanted to know your thoughts. This is from Wayne G. He wanted to know your thoughts on Eddie Gilbert and working with Ian Rotten and IWA Mid South, and all your response said was that's too long to type in 140 characters.
Yeah, because everybody knows I despised working for Ian. I did it as a favor for Dennis Corluzza. I was working in Knoxville the night that Eddie Gilbert died. He was scheduled to be, I think, in a match against Jerry Lawler. And I ran into Lawler in the back, and I said, Jerry, I guess you heard that that Eddie Gilbert's passed away. He's not going to be here tonight. I said, they're saying they found him dead in a hotel room, and a lot of pills were scattered about. And he just basically looked at me and said, well, I wish I could remember exactly the words, what he said, but it was almost like he expected it to happen. He was not tore up about it. And I don't know if he'd mind me saying that or not, but just telling it how it was and how it happened. But he, let's put it this way, he did not seem too shocked. And
well, it's kind of,
it ain't like he dropped to his knees and started bawling. That did not happen.
Well, no, what you're saying
but
is
I wasn't the biggest fan of Eddie Gilbert anyway, just due to some personal shit between him and Cornette. And I just kind of knowing how he was and the drug thing, and I'm as anti-drug as you can get, I guess, and especially back then. I mean, today I've cut it to where if you're a wounded soldier and you got to have marijuana to get by through your day, you know that's cool. You know, you've given a lot, but now you've got these soldiers being honorably discharged from the Army in the last 3 weeks, 2 of them have done mass murders.
Man, yeah.
Well, somebody's doing something wrong.
Right,
honorable discharge, and then they come home and start killing people for no damn reason. Or I guess in their head they got a reason.
Right, in the head they got a reason, but we could go down a rabbit hole talking about that topic.
Yeah, I could spend a whole hour and a half talking about that and what I think the solutions are, and it's not what all the praying and all these meetings and all these songs, because you got to remember, these people are mentally disturbed. They're not showing up at the town meeting against violence. They're not listening to the song where J-Lo asks you to love each other, and they are not putting together a plan to stop violence. These are sick, demented, ill people that need mental help. And until we start helping the mentally ill, and we as family members start saying, hey, this guy's got some issues, because just about every time there was a track record being laid. And somebody knows that something wasn't adding up, because I don't think most of us have it in our core system to go out and kill somebody. But
no, you're not wired.
I've labeled it down that somewhere between 17 and 23% of us do. That's why on the nightly news, every goddamn night, somebody's killing somebody. And as bad as I hated Tim Ash, I never wanted, well, I just said his name, didn't I? I never wanted to kill him. I wanted to fuck him up and hurt him real bad. But I never wanted to kill him. And I probably hated him as bad as I've hated anybody. And it is not in my core to want to kill anybody unless you were trying to break into my home, because I'm assuming that if you break into my home, you're probably going to try to kill me.
Do some harm.
Or do some bodily harm. Or if you tried to hurt a member of my family. Then I could be driven there. Other than that, just to show up in the middle of a street and run over 100 people. Well, he ran over 300, and 84 of them died, and 18 of them were on life support. Now, tell me what song or what town meeting was going to help that guy.
Yeah, he needed a lot more than that.
Yeah, he wasn't going to show up at the town meeting, and he wasn't listening to J-Lo. He might have been listening to Marilyn Manson. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, last question we got, StarMaker Bolin, is this guy RJ Loves Wrestling says, is John Cena a prick in real life? And then it sounded like you fired back at him with this. He said, how much money in total did you scam Kroger out with your meat scam? So I'll let you answer that.
I think I said, what, $1.98?
I think you did.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of money from him, you stupid fuck, like I would answer that.
And if you haven't heard the Kroger scam, you're just going to have to catch that somewhere else.
What's the felony? Anything over $300? It was under $300. That's what
it's under 300.
It's under 300.
But I will say this: the Kroger scam was very, 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 very.
Yeah,
smart.
if I did do that, going into OJ mode.
Right.
Yeah, if I did do that.
Allegedly.
And basically lived on it for the better part of 5 years. Yeah, it was pretty damn. And it wasn't double your money back. Allegedly, it was quadruple your money back. I've tried to explain that. Double your money back would have took a long time. Quadruple your money back is a lot more money and a lot less stores. Allegedly, if I did do that.
StarMaker Bolin had a three state ring going.
I'm just allegedly.
Allegedly.
But he wants me to put an amount, or they're just going to come knocking on my door.
He wants an amount.
And John Cena's a prick. So there you go. Everything you wanted to know. No, for whatever reason, John quit speaking to us, and I don't know why. Especially me, but he hasn't talked to Cornette or Danny Davis either, to my knowledge, since the last time he was here. And supposedly, now this is what recent guys I've talked to in the WWE told me, they said when my name comes up, he's always nice and complimentary about me. But I've written him on Twitter several times, and I know he's busy and all. But for the person, and I don't think he even knows to this day that me and Jimmy and Danny Davis went to bat for him to save his job. I don't know that he knows that. Rico knows. Rico Constantino knows because we told him what we were doing. And they'd already let him go. And Vince had no use for Cena either. He didn't get it. And and on the DVD, what's it called? My something or another. Because I
know what you're talking
about. Yeah, My Life. On My Life, Vince admits, because I'm on that DVD as well, and so's Danny Davis, and Vince admits, I didn't get it. I didn't see it. I didn't think the boy had what it took. I didn't think he had any talent. I just flat didn't get it. And I'm on there saying, you had to be an idiot. Maybe that's why Vince never hired me, because I basically called him an idiot on his own DVD. You'd have to be an idiot not to see the talent that John Cena had. And he was always gold here. He didn't hang out with us as much as all the other guys did. Me and Henry and everybody really. Bull Buchanan had a family, so I didn't hang with him as much, but we were very close friends. And Cena, and this is self-admitted, I don't think he'll deny it to anybody. Once he discovered the internet, he wanted to stay in his apartment and watch porn. That's what he wanted to do. He'd rather do that and go eat a free meal with us. And he come over and had pizza with me a couple of times, and he'd show up at Danny Davis's place for big get-togethers, and I watched him eat 136 chicken wings one night on his cheat day. But no, since he got to the WWE and really hit the big time, he come down here and did a few matches with us. Had one with Jerry Lawler down here, and I think that was the last show he did. And we just really do not hear from him anymore. So I consider that being a prick, that you forget the people that got you where you were. And I do know that he did an interview in Germany, because the reporter that got the story, Oliver Kopp, told me about it. He said they asked him, who did you learn the most from in your days in OVW? They said, was it Jimmy Cornette or Danny Davis? And he said, well, really neither. He said, I learned more about being a heel from Kenny Bolin than anybody there, which I thought was a mighty fine compliment. Now, that was years ago. But the Oliver Kopp, who is not a liar, contacted me on Facebook to tell me what Cena had said. And I said, well, he never told me that, but that's great to hear that if he did indeed say that. And he said, yeah, I was there. I heard him say every word of it. So, so that was a nice compliment. But no, I just don't have much of any contact with him. And I don't know what I'd say to him if I saw him, because I'm a little hurt that he thinks he's too big to respond to me on Twitter. I can understand if he feels he doesn't have the time to pick up the phone and call me, like every other star that I manage does. But you could at least tweet, hey King, how's it going? BS was fun, whatever. But no, so I'm a little hurt by that. And that makes me have a little bit of angry feelings towards him, because I don't recall ever doing anything to the guy it's not like I write him asking him for money. I think the only thing I ever did asking him for money was not for me personally. Danny Davis was going through a tough time, and I talked with Mark Henry about this, and he said, well, Cena's the guy with all the money. Have you written Cena? I said, well, no, I haven't. So I did. I wrote him and told him Danny was going through a tough time. Is there anything that you could do to help him? Because Cena was making millions at the time, and Danny was close to closing the doors. Well, since then, Danny's threatened to close the doors about a half a dozen times, and he stays open every time. So,
Did he sell it though?
no, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
No.
I mean, I'm not heavily in touch with what's going on over there, but I thought
there's a lot of people here thought he sold it, but no,
Okay.
that was for television purposes.
I got you.
Well, anybody can look up the courthouse and see who owns it, and it ain't Dean Hill. So, so sorry I ruined the TV angle, guys. So, but no, I haven't set foot in there since I left, and I don't know that I ever will. There's not really much reason for me to go back. Everybody that I cared about and wanted to work with is now gone. Other than Dean Hill, you know, everybody else is gone. Market. So that's amazing. 4 years, and it is just not. It ain't the company I left, and we were on the downhill slide when I left. So what do you do?
Yeah. I mean, exactly. What do you do?
But no, that's. I think we answered everybody's questions, I guess.
Well, StarMaker, I always appreciate you coming on. This is second go round.
Well, of course you do, because normally you got to try 3 or 4 days in a row before I'll actually do the show.
Well, last time you were on, you blew Sam Houston's doors off.
What were those final numbers? I mean, I can't control other people's phone. Make up something, for crying out loud. Shit.
I'd have to look.
I think when you wrote me, you said I beat him like 3-1, something like that.
Oh, easily 3. Well, here's the thing. On a smaller scale, here's how you can compare it to the YouTube channel, which I upload stuff onto there. Now, again, we don't even have the views on our YouTube channel are nothing because it's just not a means for podcasting. But I still load him. All he has today is 243 views.
Oh my God!
You've got almost 1,400 views. And again,
I guess in comparison, that's pretty good.
Well, still, if you think about it, but that's still, you're talking. He doesn't even have 250. I mean, you're talking talking 5 to 1.
5 to 1, give or take. 6 to 1.
So, and I'd say that the total downloads were probably about 3.
Well, you know what? Post that YouTube deal on my wall, and then I will hit share on it, and let's see what those numbers go to, and I'll tell you why. The thing that I said about Dean Ambrose, the guy, the TV tracks. When I looked at it, it had 700 views, and people were bashing the shit out of me. That was less than 24 hours ago. It was 2:00 this morning. It had right at 700 views. A little bit ago, it had 3,250, and it won't be 24 hours until 2:00 this morning. So it went from 700 to 3,250 in no time, and they're still bashing the shit out of me. They don't like that I'm talking bad about Ambrose, or at least in their opinion that I am. And then there's a few on there that try, but read those comments. You want to see some funny shit, because I fire back at a lot of them.
I'll go
check those out, and it's just type in Kenny Bolin comments on Dean Ambrose or something. It should come up on YouTube on TV tracks. If not, it's on my wall.
Okay, I'm gonna go pull it up. You want me to post the old episode that we did on your page again?
Is that the one that's got the 1,400 views?
Yeah,
post it on there, and I'll see if I can't boost those numbers a little bit.
And like I say, I don't even promote it. Those views are simply from people stumbling
on it.
I mean, I don't even. Again, the YouTube channel that I have
apparently
is very small.
Sam Houston will never do your show again if he hears how bad he got his ass stomped. And here he was.
And
he was on worldwide television all these years.
Oh,
I never was. Well, other than in John Cena highlight packages.
Sam, and it wasn't even a bad discussion. We talked about a bunch of stuff. I mean, he had some interesting things. Like I was telling you, he talked about the night that the Horseman,
is he still married to Baby Doll?
No.
Oh, that ended quite a while ago, huh?
I think so.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but he talked about the night that they had the Horseman jump Dusty, and he came over the cage and was trying to get in, and Arn knocked him out.
1 second, Chris. I'm wrapping up a podcast here. Go ahead, Mike.
But yeah, so he had some interesting stuff on there, but never failed. You blew him out the
Well,
window.
I knew I would. Give me those final numbers on how bad I beat Sam Houston, and I'll piss him off too.
I will pull it up. Well, look, StarMaker, I don't want to keep you. I appreciate you always
You're
doing
quite welcome.
the show.
Happy to do it.
And yeah, I look forward to coming on the bowling
We'll
alley
have you
one
on,
day.
and hell, we'll get 100,000 downloads with you too. If I can do it with my plumber, I can do it with you.
You can do it with the plumber. That's right. Well, thanks again,
I said
StarMaker.
good
I
day.
appreciate it.
Be
All right.
good.
Thanks again to Kenny, the StarMaker Bolin, for coming on Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast. Like I had mentioned at the opening of the show, if you really enjoyed this and loved it, check us out. Take our audio podcast with you wherever you go. All of the links are below, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, TuneIn Radio. You can find us by all of those methods on just about any podcast app there is nowadays. Just search Booking the Territory or use those links, and you can take us with you on the go. We have our weekly episodes that drop every single Thursday night where we discuss Raw, we discuss TNA, ROH, all that good stuff, SmackDown, and we generally have a guest on like the guest we had just now, which was Kenny the StarMaker Bolin. If you would like to follow us, please do so on social media. Facebook.com/Booking the Territory. Twitter @BTT_podcast. I'm at Mike504Saints. And all of those links should be below. If you are so kind, you can also donate to the show using PayPal. And but if you don't want to donate and you want to buy some merchandise, you could check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store that is in the link below as well. Just head on over to Pro Wrestling Tees and pick up a Booking the Territory podcast t-shirt up. We would greatly appreciate that. That is all I have. Hopefully you will hang with us and check us out on our audio platforms. And thanks again for checking out this week's episode of Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast on YouTube.